Hello, this thing on? Yep, good, we're good.
Hi.
Okay, cool. Everybody, thanks for coming. If you were just part of that last presentation, there's a lot of interesting parallels that we draw in this one. And sometimes in AI we find things are a little bit complex, so we're hopefully going to try and simplify things a little bit. But yeah, as with most talks today, we're talking about AI, specifically in personalization. And I know it's difficult to grab attention around lunchtime, so thanks for coming. We tactically included fish and chips in the subject line just so that we could entice you guys in. A little bit of Pavlov's dogs to get you drooling about personalization. So yeah, aim here really is to give you a couple of takeaway points that you can hopefully try when you get back to the office. Little intros then. I've only got 3 hands here. I've got 2 hands and 3 things to click. Little intro. My name's Dan. I'm the head of marketing and e-commerce at InstantPrint. I've been there for 3 years and spent basically every day of my working career in either marketing, e-commerce, or tech. My obsession is getting people where they want to be faster and easier. And this is my colleague Jenny.
Hi everyone, my name's Jennie Hopkins. Sorry if that was really loud into your headsets. I'm the e-commerce manager at InstantPrint, and I've worked at InstantPrint now for 9 years. Spent most of my 20s in InstantPrint. It's been very fun. And basically I came as a graphic designer and transitioned into an e-commerce manager around 3 years ago. And I'm passionate about optimizing the InstantPrint website to make it the best experience possible for customers. So next we'll go into a little bit about InstantPrint. So InstantPrint is an online print company, and we print things like business cards, flyers, a lot of things that you'll see around today to do with our exhibitions. We print a lot of that online. And we've been in the print industry now for 15 years, and it started with our founders, James and Adam, who are our co-founders. They were basically running club nights, and they wanted to find a really easy way to order flyers for promoting their club nights at university. And then that was when InstantPrint was born, basically. So we created a platform, and it's just gone on from there. So it's grown. We've obviously got over 1 million customers now, and we have around 10,000 unique visits a day. So the InstantPrint mission has basically been the same from when it first started. We want to make print buying as easy as possible for all businesses. So Dan's going to go into more about these 1 million customers that we have.
So yeah, as Jenny mentioned, we crossed this milestone and hit 1 million customers. And for us, this is significant. But when we talk about our customers sit on different ends of a scale. So we have some customers who spend £50 a year, some spend £50,000 a month. Some have got turnovers of £1,000 a year, some turnover multi-billions. Some have got 1 employee whose job it is to do literally everything, and some have got hundreds of employees who've got special roles. And yeah, our mission is to make print buying easy for all of those guys. So that's the personalization challenge that we have. A little bit of audience participation. Whose target audiences has scales like that? Are you targeting people at one end of a scale? Raise your hands if that makes sense. If not, you've got it quite easy, but you've probably got quite niche product offerings. But yeah, over the years, the businesses, groups, and organizations that we work with have been everything from multi-billion-pound companies like Amazon and TikTok, all the way down to the local fish and chip shop. You know, my local chippy orders from us. And the key point is that those people need to be treated specifically. So not differently. We need to know about them and treat them specific to their needs. And before we actually get into sort of the AI aspect of things, we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about how you find out about your audience and how you know they are. So we're going to go into some personas.
Cool, so I know that everyone loves audience participation, so I've got another raise of hands question. Who here has heard of personas before? Oh, good amount of people here heard of personas. So keep your hand up if you have personas set up in your business and use them to make decisions on a daily basis. Okay, but we've got a few people that are like, yeah. But yeah, so basically Personas are the basis of things that you want to personalise on your site. You've got to know who your customers are to really get to personalise them. So we'll go more into that. So here is a sneak peek into our instant print personas. So we have different ends of the scales here. So they help us to simplify our audience and make sure that every decision we make, from an email subject line all the way to like a homepage banner, it speaks directly to people like Nikki and Catherine, and so on as well. So we even have them on our office walls. I don't know if anyone else does. They take pride of place outside the marketing and e-commerce department, and they really help us to stay focused on who we're designing for. So speaking of Nikki, we'll take a closer look at Nikki now. So meet Nikki, everyone. She is an Etsy business owner, and she buys things like business cards and postcards from Instant Print. So we've given her a name, a backstory, and then found out what motivates her as a customer. So every decision that we make, we ask ourselves, would this resonate with Nikki? Would this work with her? And actually, a couple of years ago, we had a project where we wanted to create a wedding print hub. So we wanted to be the best printers for wedding print on the market. And we got about a quarter of the way through the project, and we looked up at the wall and we realised that, God, none of these people on the wall are going to buy wedding print. They're all businesses, they're all cafe owners, they're all work for charities and education, and we just were like, oh. So we actually decided to stop the project there and then, just based off of that, because it's not who we were going to be targeting. So now that we know who we're talking to, we'll delve more into AI.
Okay, so AI. Like I said at the start, I often find that AI is sometimes spoken about in sort of unattainable terms. Quite fluffy and lofty. We really want to bring it down to earth. Like, what is it? You know, everyone's used ChatGPT. And the point that we're trying to make is that it's actually far more accessible than you think. And if you think you're not using it, you probably are using technology right now that's got it built in. As a starting point, I asked AI, what is AI? And it said, oh no, I didn't say that. So it said that artificial intelligence is when computers or machines are programmed to think and learn like humans. Now, we all think and learn in different ways. Some of the thoughts are simple, some of the thoughts are complex. AI is exactly the same. So we're going to focus on those simple AI solutions today. And then just an additional point, really, the big difference that AI has over us is that it's just got that scalability, particularly when it comes to tech. So there's a good chance that the tech that you're using right now has got it in. And we're going to spend a little time talking about tech, but here's a little overview of the tech stack that we use at the moment.
Thank you. So our tech stack is really the basis for driving our personalised experiences, and it fuels everything from data analysis right through to actually delivering those personalised experiences as well. It helps us get a real sense of who's on the site, what they want to do, and all the problems that we can solve for them as well. So taking a look a bit further, so we'll start with Hotjar and Microsoft Clarity. So we actually recently discovered Microsoft Clarity as an alternative to Hotjar, but we still use both in tandem. So Hotjar allows us to see where people get stuck on the website, where they're frustrated, and we can use things like heat maps and session recordings just to watch people and then try and personalise from there. We have GA4, which obviously I think a lot of people will be familiar with. So obviously GA4 will help us understand where our traffic's coming from, how people flow through the site, and whether they engage with the content or not as well. And then finally we have Insider, who have strategically placed themselves on the edge of here. Don't know why. Not getting any commission from them being stood there. But they help us to deliver the actual personalised experiences. But there's alternatives that you can have, like Dynamic Yield or Salesforce as well. So these tools give us the insight into our audience, which we'll then use to answer their problems.
Okay, so let's talk about some sort of real tangible tips now. We've spoken about who in personalization that we're targeting, what AI is, what it's capable of, and some of the tools that we use. Now what? Well, my first piece of advice when it comes to AI is start specifically with a problem. If you're like me and someone says, how can AI support? The mind just goes totally blank. There are too many possibilities. But if you go to it with a really specific problem, it'll give you much more specific responses, and you'll get to the answer that you're looking for much quicker. It narrows that field of possibilities and focuses the efforts. A great tactic to try, and if you try only one thing from this presentation, is go to a tool like ChatGPT, give it some context for something, and give it a really specific problem that you've got, and just ask it what it can do to help. Because if you don't think that it can help, it'll tell you exactly how it can help. The second sort of top tip for this really is compounding that first point. We try and treat AI as if it's an intern with unlimited potential, and we speak to our ChatGPT AI like it's an intern. The problem with an intern is they don't know anything about the business. So when we talk to ChatGPT or Gemini or tools like that, we will give it the context for what we're talking about and the situation at the time. We'll give it the problem, and then we'll literally ask it for something. So we're going to do a little demo here. Hands up, you've used ChatGPT? Everyone know what it is? Excellent. Yeah. So this really is just a ChatGPT demo, but the point that we're trying to make here is how to talk to it. So we're trying to set some context right at the start there. I'm a small business owner and I'm not good with tech. This is a common situation. Complex tech solutions don't come easy to me. I've got a limited team and I need to do more with the same. That's a problem that lots of small businesses have. The actual problem that I'm asking it to solve is that one of our employees spends 4 hours a day copying down data from business cards, transposing it into Excel, and then that gets put into MailChimp, and then we email that out. So I don't know how AI can help at this point, but my instruction to it is, how can you help? So firstly, and very kindly, it reassures me that it can help. So that's great. And it then proceeds to give me a bunch of ideas, some relevant, some not, but these are ideas that I didn't otherwise know. So, Julie is spending 4 hours transposing this data. She could use an optical recording device and scan these business cards with an optical recording pen or a camera, and that'll transpose it straight into software. That might be a good idea. It might not be a good idea, but it's going to save Julie some time, that's for sure. The next option it gave me is there are apps on your phone. You can just take photos of business cards and it transposes it straight into the CRM, so we can bypass Excel if we need to. Gave me another idea, automate data entry through AI-powered bots. That might be a little bit complex for Julie, but she might be a tech wizard that we don't know. It gave us another idea, use AI marketing platforms that have these tools built in. Gave us another idea, dictation. Julie could just read out what's on the cards, it would listen, and it'd transpose into Excel. So I guess the point that we're making there is it's given us various ideas, and some of those ideas might be good and might not be good, might be suitable to Julie and might not be, but I can promise you one thing, next week Julie is not going to be writing down the details from business cards.
Cool, so we're going to move over to segmenting to personalise. So when segmenting to personalise, it's really important to understand not just what your customers buy, but why and how often they visit as well. So when we speak to customers differently depending on their past experiences. So we've got some industries, so some of our top industries, charity, education and business. Our education customers, we know, don't relate well to selling. They're more on a communicative level. So we will change the messaging on our site for these types of customers. We have these types of customers segmented, so returning customers are already categorized into industries, so we know who's logged in and who's one of these industries as well. We've got visit frequency, so we know the customers that come all the time. We have customers that order from us multiple times a day, some that come twice a year and spend with us. So we know that these customers that come back every week or every day, they know the site inside out, they don't need any updates, they don't need much explanation. Obviously, buying print is a complicated thing. We have things like paper stocks and laminations that we need to explain, so these customers might not need as much explanation as a new customer would. And then also new versus returning, so we can actually personalise based on what people have viewed before. So a couple of our products like books or banners might need a bit more consideration than just buying a business card, for example. So we can then show these customers a personalised experience so that they can come back and get straight into that experience and know that that's what they're here for and buying it. So I'm going to go through an example in a minute of banners, but we'll go through that in a second. Yeah. So here's an example of one of the experiments that we've put live over the last couple of months. So this is if you've recently browsed a banner, a roller banner or a PVC banner like on the screen. Next time you visit, you'd see a homepage banner highlighting that product here. So this is an example of what that might look like. This has led to a 200% increase in engagement, which is an incredible result. And it's all about getting to see what the customer can get to see at the right time and the right place as well. So now let's talk about how we approach site search.
Yeah, so site search, this one's a real quick one, and I'm just conscious of time as well. We've got loads of ideas to get through, but site search, I think, is probably one of the quickest wins that you guys can implement. So if you've got an e-commerce platform or a content store and you've got an on-site search engine that's just using phrase match, you're missing out on a big trick. Phrase match and just an algorithm on its own is not AI. But if you can couple in natural language processing and machine learning so that the results are constantly improved, and then beyond that you can start to make recommendations, that's where you really start to leverage AI. So like Jenny said, we use Eureka, which is from Insider at the back. We've also used Clevu. I think those guys are over there somewhere as well. We've used Marketing Cloud and Salesforce to varying degrees of success. But these are all sort of off-the-shelf solutions that you guys can literally just plug in. And in terms of tech, I find that search is one of the fastest pieces of tech to integrate. Some people don't use search, though, when they're browsing the site. Some people search, and some people like to navigate. So that's how we get into navigation.
Cool, thank you very much. So site navigation can sometimes be one of the most difficult things in e-commerce. Like, how do you get someone further into your site that's landed on a random page in the website? So, thank you. So, for example, one of our real-life examples, so if a customer has shown interest anywhere on our website about sustainability, whether that's through maybe a recycled product or clicked an element that is sustainable, we have lots of messaging on the site. This is one of our core brand values, sustainability, so we would then promote what is our sustainability hub, which is just packed full of information about how we are a sustainable print company, which obviously we print on a lot of paper, so there's lots of information there for customers to digest, but we want to promote that to those customers that have shown interest. So we might want to highlight it green, or we could add, in the past we've added like a leaf, some sort of like thing that basically highlights that as a sustainable element. One of the other examples we've got is our design online tool. So we know from our data that half of our design online customers, which is where you go on and you design your own business card or flyer and then print it, we know that half of these customers are new. So we know that for new customers, we can create an experience where we might want to reprioritize the navigation, so we can literally drag and drop the design online tool to be further up in the navigation, or just again like highlight it or promote it in that way, so that we can get people to where they want to go quicker. We also use slither banners. So this example is a yellow banner up here. So in this one, we're advertising don't miss out on new stocks that we've got printing on our staple booklets. And this is only shown to people that have shown interest before in staple booklets. So it's really like highlighting like, oh, here's a new update for these customers. And then the banner shows for them. So next we'll talk about naming and merchandising.
Yeah, so naming and merchandising is a challenge that's not unique to us. But the fact that people call things different names is a challenge that we face. And in print, a perfect bound book doesn't make much sense to people, but everybody knows what a catalogue is. So this is a personalisation challenge that we have. And we've got a little demo around what we do that I'm going to show you in a second. But what we're trying to achieve here is, if you are searching for catalogues, you're shown catalogues. If you're searching for a perfect bound book, you're shown a perfect bound book. But we don't want multiple versions of the same page for duplicate content, lots of pieces of web real estate to upkeep for the merchandising team. So how we achieve that is, this is the same URL. This is the perfect bound books page. But if you arrive here by clicking on catalogues, I should have slowed this GIF down a little bit. If you arrived here by clicking on catalogues, you hit the catalogue version of it. All the images are changed to look like catalogues, the words are changed to look like catalogues, because that's how you've arrived here. If you arrived here because you're an experienced print buyer and you know what a perfect bound book is, you land on the perfect bound book version of this page. And there are multiple iterations of this that we can have for catalogues, brochures, and magazines. So what we achieve here is, relevancy and user journey consistency. And for us, that really helps improve conversion rates.
So moving on to promotions then. So we obviously personalise promotions based on what we think will provide the most value for our customers. So by analysing their past experiencing through like the tools that we talked about earlier, we can make sure that everyone sees promotions that are relevant to them. So we'll go into that now. So bargains matter, but only when they're relevant. Fun fact, I actually got to the last stages of Bargain Hunt, but didn't make it onto TV. Clearly I'm not TV worthy. So yeah, we don't want to distract customers from the real needs. So like I've just distracted you all there from our personalised presentation. That's why we base promotions on what we bring the most value. So for instance, if you place a £1,000 order, and we give you a £5 off voucher, you'd feel a bit disappointed that that's all you've got for £1,000. Whereas if you've spent £50 and you get that £5 offer, you'd be like, oh, that's actually a really good offer, I'll take that. So by reviewing past data, we can also send highly targeted offers to customers. Because let's face it, if you have an offer for 30% off menus and you're not in the food industry, it's really not going to mean anything to you. So now you put all that effort in, was it really worth it?
So measurement then. I mean, measurement really depends on your business. And you should really measure what matters to you. But the point of measurement is that you need to measure this stuff. One of the key aspects of measurement, doesn't matter what sort of stats it is that you measure, is that you must have a control group. So this is a group of people that don't get the personalization, because this allows you to see that if the change in the personalized group is different to what you were expecting, what happened to the control group. If the personalized experiment improves by 10%, but the control group improves by 10%, the personalizations had no benefit. So a control group is the absolute #1 thing there, but you need to measure what matters to you. Now we talk about who to personalize for. You've also got to have a what and why. Why are we personalizing? And that's got to have a metric that makes sense. Jennie mentioned some of the measurement tools that we use, and you guys have probably got access to a lot of those. I guess some examples that we've had recently, a weather personalization experiment that we ran in the wetter months. If it detected that it was wet where you were, products that were suitable for wet weather were displayed to you. We had overnight, immediately, a 9% improvement in conversion rate, which is massive for us. Another very similar one, so books for us are a little bit of a niche product, certainly in terms of search volume. We use those kind of interest-based prompts across the website to generate more traffic coming through to these more niche pages. Immediately overnight, 30% more page views we were achieving in this quite niche area. And then we also use all that sort of data to pump into tools like Insider again to build lookalike audiences, and then we target those people through ads. So I guess the point is, you guys need to measure what matters to you, but it's really important that you have a measurement metric, and even more importantly, that you're working with a control. So that brings us 49 seconds over into summary.
Yep, so AI supporting your business is actually a lot easier than you think.
To start with a problem, and then just go and ask ChatGPT how it can help. If you do one thing after this, it's just do that.
To personalise effectively, you've got to start with getting to know your customers better and understand their challenges.
And then lastly, measure what matters and make sure that you have a control group. And thank you very much.
Thank you all.